We're all we got. We all we need. What's up, boys and girls? It's a Thursday. Oh, I'm fired up today. Bostonian versus the book on a Thursday night. Patriots, Jets. Patriots, Jets. Oh, I hope the Patriots kick the living hell out of the Jets tonight. We are live on YouTube and X. We are replayed on Sports Grid Television, 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern time, and always available on audio podcasts wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. Welcome to a BetCris Arizona Thursday. Adam Bjorn. I kind of know where he is, so I cheated a bit. I talked to Adam yesterday, so I know where he is. But where in the world will Adam Bjorn be? We'll talk to our guy coming up here in about 15 minutes. Tons on the Patriots and the Jets tonight on Thursday night, plus a huge weekend of college and pro football. We have to appreciate what we have. Rams and the Seahawks, the Lions and the Eagles, Alabama, Oklahoma. I mean, there are some really big football games coming up on Saturday, coming up on Sunday. But before we do the opening line, in my DMs, everybody had a flip out yesterday. In case you don't know, and we will talk to Adam about this at the top, but one of our former sponsors, Prime Sportsbook, announced yesterday that they are filing for bankruptcy. That word bankruptcy flips everybody out, okay? And Planet Tech, which is the company owned by Adam Bjorn, they are the back end. They are the ones basically doing the booking for Prime, the brand, Prime Sportsbook. Nothing's changing, okay? Everyone can take a deep breath and just relax, okay? This is from the guy, Joe Brennan Jr., who appeared on this show quite a bit. Prime continues to operate uninterrupted. Player balances are 100% guaranteed by law. No reduction in operations, limits, markets, or anything else. Prime is doing something looking to reduce overhead, and agreements made. That's it. I know that's not sexy, and I know that's not really what people want to hear. Everybody wants to say the sky's falling, right? Everything is a disaster. Well, it's not always the case. Sometimes it's a decision made by people, business-wise, taking advantage of certain things that they can do to help their business. It has nothing to do with BetCris Arizona, just FYI, but there is a connection because of Planet Tech and Adam Bjorn, and so people in my DMs were asking a bunch of questions of like, oh my gosh, what happened? What happened? Are you guys okay? We're good. Everyone's good. Everyone's fine. There's no worries. We're all here. Prime is still operating. BetCris Arizona still operating, and Planet Tech 100% is still operating. So just pure clarity in the design of transparency. That is what I wanted to say at the top of the show today. But nothing's going to dampen my mood. Nothing's going to bring me down. It's Patriots, Jets. I hate the Jets. And I mean, I hate the Jets. And I am very nervous about this football game tonight. I hope I'm wrong. I was wrong last week. I bet against the Patriots last week. I had the Bucs. I thought the Bucs would beat the Patriots. And yet they've won 7 games in a row. They are 6-1 against the spread over those 7 games. It's ridiculous what the Patriots are doing right now. And now it's prime time. And they're wearing these like icy blue unis tonight, the rivalry edition, the nor'easter version, what they're calling it. They look like Ole Miss. That's what they look like. They look a touch like North Carolina, which you would assume that Drake May will feel pretty comfortable tonight wearing the unis. Throwback to his college days, but I'm not in love with it. Can we just do the Pat the Patriot? Can we just adopt this uniform? This, please. Not this. Flying Elvis needs to go. Can we just do Pat the Patriot, please, and leave it alone? All red uniform, red jerseys. Pat the Patriot. Get rid of the Flying Elvis. I don't need it anymore. It's a reminder of the bygone era when the Patriots were bad. Back in the 90s. They got good too, obviously. They won 6 championships with the Flying Elvis. So people would say, wait, what are you talking about? The Flying Elvis has 6 rings. It does. But this is undefeated. Pat the Patriot's undefeated. So whenever we do alt uniforms, I'm like, come on, man. Alt uniforms. So tons of football. Tons and tons of football. Which is kind of funny because we're going to start the show with baseball. Because the GM meetings are here in Las Vegas. And Well, we found out who the Cy Young was yesterday in both the American League and the National League. And we consistently hear these really unfortunate rumors about both Paul Skenes and Tarik Skubal. It's our opening line. The opening line is being presented by Huel. What does a busy morning look like for you guys? Are you skipping meals? Are you skipping breakfast, lunch, dinner? Well, here is a meal replacement that is quick, that is easy, and it's healthy. I use the Black Edition protein powder shakes. I have chocolate and vanilla. There are other flavors as well. 200 or 400 calorie options. It's a healthy way to eat fast. 40 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals. This is a plant-based protein, so it's vegan, it's gluten-free, there are no artificial sweeteners, and it can be made very quickly. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched their pre-made in Target stores nationwide. You can try Huel today with 15% off your first purchase, minimum of $75 for new customers with the code BVB. To get it, you log on to Huel, HUEL.com/BVB. Human fuel. Huel makes healthy eating simple. Baseball. Let's talk about what's going on here. As yesterday we found out about both Paul Skenes, unanimous National League Cy Young Award winner, 1.97 ERA, and Tarik Skubal, who wins the AL Cy Young Award for the second straight year. Really cool video that came out online from Fox about Paul Skenes and Tarik Skubal were sitting down, and they both were asked how many offers they had coming out of high school. Combined, they had 3. 3. Paul Skenes was going to be an Air Force pilot. He wasn't even going to be a pitcher. He thought he was going to go fly airplanes. And then he was a catcher who became a pitcher because he grew and he was too big to be a catcher. So they said, all right, let's make you into a pitcher. And became a pitcher. And he goes to LSU and he's dominant, like absolutely dominant at LSU. He then goes into becoming the number 1 pick in the draft and goes to the Pirates and is equally dominant in Major League Baseball. He rockets through the minor leagues. He's barely gets a cup of coffee in the minors. And then he becomes the ace, the stud of the National League. These are generational talents in Tarik Skubal and Paul Skenes. But all we do is talk about trading them. And I think that's a problem for baseball that they have to recognize. And I'm not just saying this because of Tiger fans or Pirate fans in the chat, because I know that they would agree with this. I'm just talking about as a baseball fan. And my team is one of the teams that will, come in and plunder. Okay. So my team is the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mets, the Cubs, like the Dodgers, obviously. These big market, big money teams, when they're using the smaller market teams or the smaller spending teams, because Detroit's a pretty big market, to be your quadruple A, to allow the player to develop, to allow the player to prove himself on the major league level, and then they swoop in and they trade for that team, or for that player with that team, that's a problem. Okay, that's an issue. Because the Pirates should be building everything around Paul Skenes. And the Tigers should be doing everything in their power to build around Tarik Skubal. And that is not happening. That is not happening. Paul Skenes is the first pitcher to win Rookie of the Year and Cy Young to start a career in year 1 and year 2 since Doc Gooden with the Mets in the 80s. Like, that's the level we're talking about. Hall of Fame start to his career for Paul Skenes. And then yesterday here in Vegas, Paul Skenes, when he's meeting with the media to talk about the Cy Young, has to answer the question about whether or not he has been telling his teammates in Pittsburgh that he wants to be a Yankee. Paul Skenes, according to an unnamed player on the Pirates, speaking to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, has reportedly, quote, heard Paul Skenes say multiple times that he wants to play for the Yankees and that he wants to be traded to New York before he can become a free agent in 2029. I mean, that's a long time from now. He is under team control until 2029. And yet a teammate is coming out and saying, actually, Paul Skenes wants out. He's hoping for a trade. That's the quote. He's hoping for a trade. Paul Skenes yesterday said, the way that fans see us outside of Pittsburgh is not supposed to win. There are 29 fan bases that expect us to lose. I want to be part of the 26 guys that change that. GM Ben Cherington has been asked all week about the rumors surrounding Paul Skenes and whether or not he's getting traded. And he answered, the question gets asked, and it's always respectful. Teams have to ask the question. I suspect that won't end. But the answer's been consistent. They're not trading Paul Skenes. They're saying they're not trading him this offseason, and they're not trading him at all. But unnamed teammates coming out and saying that Paul Skenes wants out, I can't blame Paul Skenes for looking at New York or looking at Boston or looking at LA with the Dodgers and go, okay, I'm from Southern California. I would love to go back and pitch for the Angels. I'd love to go back and pitch for the Dodgers. I would love to go somewhere warm, right? I mean, it makes sense that he would dream about that, given the fact that the Pirates have been awful in the 2 years in which Paul Skenes has been with them, and they are showing no interest in building. They're showing no interest in spending any real money to be a contender with Paul Skenes at the top of that rotation. Paul Skenes, among all MLB pitchers this year, ranked second in wins above replacement, fourth in WHIP. He was tied for fourth in strikeouts and first in fewest home runs allowed per 9 innings. Skenes' 216 strikeouts this year were the most by a Pirates right-hander that has ever tallied in a single season. He broke Mitch Keller's record of 210. Skenes became the first MLB pitcher to start the All-Star game in each of his first 2 seasons in the big leagues. And now he's the first Pirate pitcher to win the Cy Young since Doug Drabeck in 1990. He is one of, if not the best pitcher in the game. And yet he is talking publicly or privately, depending on who he's talking to, about wanting to play somewhere else. If I'm a Pirate fan, that makes my head explode. I'm going, what are we doing? Like, you have a generational talent. You don't get off of Ohtani. This is what Angel fans had to deal with. Like, when you have a generational talent, you don't move him, which takes us to the second part of this, which is Tarik Skubal, who just won back-to-back Cy Young Awards. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Back-to-back. Denny McClain won it in 68 and 69 for the Tigers. Happened one time before. Like, it doesn't happen. You win back-to-back. It just doesn't happen. He's the first back-to-back since Pedro Martinez in 1999 and 2000. And for my lifetime, the 99 Pedro is the best season I've ever seen by a pitcher. Like, that is, Pedro's 99 season was stupid. And here is back-to-back Cy Youngs with Tarik Skubal. And now all we're hearing is about Skubal being shopped. I mean, he was 13-6 in 31 starts. He had a 2.21 ERA, 241 strikeouts, second in both categories behind Paul Skenes. But the Tigers didn't do much. It's not his fault, not Skubal's fault, but the Tigers didn't do much to build a contender. They weren't supposed to be good. They kicked out everybody last year and they punted and somehow they made the playoffs. So the follow-up was, okay, let's go and see if we can compete. That didn't really happen. They collapsed down the stretch. They got caught by the Guardians. Not good. Not good. From a baseball perspective, I want these guys to be on their teams for their whole careers. I want Paul Skenes to be a Pirate. I want Tarik Skubal to be a Tiger. I know that's not going to happen because the Tigers are $250 million apart between Skubal and them, and Skubal's going into the last year of his rookie contract. Skenes has got 3 years left, so we got some time for Paul Skenes, but he already, either intentionally or unintentionally, is starting to signal that he wants out of Pittsburgh, that he doesn't want to be part of the Pirates and what's happening with them. That's not good for Major League Baseball. Could you imagine in the NFL. Could you imagine if a quarterback who came into the league who was playing in a small market, like could you imagine Josh Allen, who goes to Buffalo, who changes the entire trajectory of the Buffalo Bills? Could you imagine if he started pining about playing for the Cowboys, or he was dreaming about playing for the Bears or some other legacy franchise that, it's too small? Or Drew Brees, when he went to the Saints, talked about just too small of a market. Like, oh, I can't, I need to go somewhere else. I need to go play for the New York Giants. I want to go play in a big market. This is why the NFL does so well, and Major League Baseball has problematic franchises. Because if you're watching Paul Skenes as a Pirate, and I have seen him in person at Wrigley Field, we saw him nearly pitch a no-hitter against the Cubs. You watch it and you're like, Pirate fans know this guy's going to be a Yankee, Red Sox, Dodger at some point. He's not going to be part of their franchise. And that is so disheartening because you spend all your time, energy, and your love of your team watching history, watching something that's never happened before. And he's yours. Skubal is yours. Skenes is yours. He's on your team. And in the back of your head, you know that he's not going to be there much longer. He's at the highest level. He's a major league pitcher. He's on a major league roster. He's just won the Cy Young, both guys. And they're going to be in a different uniform in 2 or 3 years. That stinks. How do I fix it? I don't know. It just stinks that is a reality. I don't like it at all. It bothers me. It's a BetCris Arizona Thursday. I kind of know where he is. I kind of cheated. I saw it on his social media. I know where he is, but we can ask anyway. Adam Bjorn, you Northern Light looking son of a bee. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good, Matt. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, if you knew what I had planned for this week, I was meant to be in the Philippines this week, but they had a typhoon on the weekend. I had a snowstorm on the weekend, and there was no way to get from A to B. So, yes, I'm still in Michigan right now.
Okay, I figured as much. I saw you staring at the Northern Lights yesterday. I don't blame you for going for a walk, because I am assuming what your social media DMs looked like when my social medias were going crazy last night. I addressed it at the top a little bit, but I'll let you kind of address it as to what's going on with Prime. It sounds like the word bankruptcy is freaking everybody out, and there's nothing really changing on the business side. Is that fair?
Yeah, nothing changing on the front end. On the back end, and again, representing Prime today because, yes, we have BetCris in Arizona. Arizona, we are a B2C operator. Not the case in New Jersey, Ohio, and Kentucky. There's been conversations going on for some time. This industry's tough. And the guys that put Prime together, made a really, really good run at it. And when we started all of this, the expectation that somewhere in the future there'd probably be a merger. I was thinking maybe end of 26, beginning of 27, kind of trying to put this thing on steroids and taking it somewhere. But it's been a hell of a lot harder. The costs and the taxes and, sweeps, predictions, all those kind of things. So on the front end, players shouldn't see any difference. There was a run on balances yesterday. Everyone got paid as requested. But on the back end, I'm looking to take this thing over. I want to put, our knowledge, our skill set into what Prime's built to this point. And, not talking about rebranding just yet. Okay. Everything's on the table. All we're trying to do right now is get together with the market accesses. And this would have been a hell of a lot easier if the market access casinos, people that were on the other side had played ball. They didn't. So Prime was kind of forced into this situation. We're the secured debt leader. We've been on top of this for some months. We're making sure player balance is secured, which it is. And I tell the regulators and anyone that's listening, the first thing I want to see every morning is the player holdings and the bank balances that are segregated that cover those balances. Everything else will fight through. Results are up and down. If we have a losing time, those need to get topped up. If we have a winning time, the funds stay in those player accounts anyway, because this is a roller coaster and we're all up and down all over the place. So, yeah, DMs were blowing up last night. Actually, when I do my Twitter things at night with the charts and that, 80 to 100 people. There was almost 700 on there last night. And I don't know if it was just like, what is he coming to say it's all over? Is he coming So for me, business as usual, lots of lawyers involved. I'm learning lots of terminologies that I've never heard before. But yeah, it's like it's another gamble. We're taking a gamble that we can take the Prime Sports pieces, the contracts they have, the states that they have, and keep it going and build on top of that. That's been the ultimate goal from day one.
So just to reiterate, if you have a Prime account, everything is as is. Your money is secure. There's no worries. We're all operating today. You want to bet the game tonight? Bet the game tonight, right?
Yeah, and people know where to find me. I mean, popping up all over the place. My DMs are always open on whatever social medias I have. That's it. I'm here to sort of lead this thing through what it needs to be done, make it cleaner, more efficient. I mean, we could have done a Fubo or a Twin Spires or ESPN. Like, we could have just bailed and said, all right, let's get out of this. Let's go and try something a little bit easier. But we're here to stay. We're trying to fight through this thing. And next year is probably the best sporting year that I've ever had in my lifetime, and probably going to be a long time before we see any kind of World Cup hosting on this side of the world as well. So I want to be around for 2026. So when we started this process and we're having these conversations, I'm talking to my owner and talking to sort of how do we make this happen that we're here for 2026? Because you cannot miss this World Cup and this opportunity and the back end of the 2 football seasons on each side of that. So we're here, we'll fight through it, and we'll see how it comes out on the other side.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the World Cup from a betting perspective, because I haven't been in the space since the World Cup's been in the United States, so I think it's going to be pretty wild to see what the handle looks like across the country when the World Cup is going to be in America. So you're expecting a big year?
Yeah, I mean, I got to sniff a little bit of when it was in Brazil, and actually went to a couple of games in Brazil, but I saw the volume and things that were happening, especially with BetCris in Latin America and other brands that I was consulting for and whatnot at the time. But, it was phenomenal. And books were writing numbers that they'd never seen in their lives. Now that we're adding 16 teams, more games, it's 104 Super Bowls in 40 days. So, bring it on, and we're just making sure that we're as ready as possible to take that all on, wherever it is that we're located.
Well, very cool. I appreciate the transparency and the honesty. I think it helps calm people down, and people appreciate when there is some truth telling about what's going on and why things are being made, why moves are being made. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. All right, let's get to tonight. I'm all decked out. I'm a Patriot fan. I hate the Jets. I can't lay 13 points. Where's the master money? Are the pros laying 13? Because that's a big number on a short week.
Yeah. We're 98% of the master money is on the Patriots, but they're not laying the 13. They laid the 10, 10 and a half, some 11, 11 and a half. They slowed down from there. 68% of the other money overall is on the Patriots as well. I mean, this is such a standout game. Even I'm looking at breaking my Thursday night no survivor rule. I do have the Patriots available in one of my remaining. So I am likely to come off this call, message my proxy and say, all right, I can't pass this one up. I hate to, if the Jets come up and win, I'll take all the blame. But
yeah,
I can't let this one go by.
There's just too many numbers. The Patriots own the Jets. Like, it's just this would be such a letdown for everybody in New England. They've won 7 straight. They're 6-1 against the number. Maybe the Jets hang around and lose the game by 7 or 10 points and they cover. But I can't see you going down with a survivor pick. I can't see the Patriots losing tonight. It would be such a bummer for everything that's going on in New England if the Jets, because I hate that damn franchise. So I think you're okay.
All right. Well, that's definitely what I'm going to do. Come off this, message the proxy and say, all right, let's get this one in for tonight.
Yeah, I like it. Anyone going on the total? Because I bet the over. I couldn't lay it, but I bet the over in the game. What's the action from a total perspective?
It's about 70% is on the under. So you're on the house side there, which is generally the good side. It got played from 45.5, 45, 44.5, 43 and a half. A lone bet on the over 44, but yeah, generally it's all under and master action.
I might need a late score on this, but I think the Patriots score 28 points, and the Jets can score 17 or 20 tonight. I think they actually could put some points up, maybe in garbage time, but I think they can score. So I do like the over. We're going to Spain. It's the Dolphins and the Commanders. International football again for us, but this is a new country. We don't have much data on games over in Spain here, but Dolphins were 2.5. Now they're 3-point favorites. I'm assuming all the pros are coming in on Miami.
This one's low volume so far, but it's pretty well balanced on the master chart, and most of it's at -2.5, and there's a bit of buyback at 3. But yeah, it started at the -2.5. They got it to 3. I mean, I think it's like 3 dog 20, dog 15 in a lot of the spots now. But yeah, this really hasn't gotten a lot of attention as yet.
Why do you think that is? Because last week we talked to you, and the international game was getting hammered. It was one of the most bet games for you guys. Why is this game not attractive?
I don't know. I mean, Commanders, Dolphins. I mean, Dolphins did what they did last week to the Bills. Commanders, obviously, first week without the QB, and you know, Lions thankfully did what Lions needed to do.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's just that they feel like this one. Who knows? I think that's sort of where the Jets winning last week is like, they got their, people weren't expecting it with all their trades and whatnot. So had their thing. They're not, they dived down, which is why I'm kind of comfortable on the Patriots with all those other things. But I think this is just a game of, you've really got to be keen to want to bet this game. Last week it was Colts, good team, Falcons. It was at a number where, ended up being a good result for us covering that. And ended up being I think the Saturday night play of the week, the Falcons, which looked like it would be a money line win and ended up holding on by half a hook. But I think this is just two teams that people really need to just wait and get involved closer to the game if they're up and awake at that time, depending where they're located.
All right, the Bucs and the Bills is a really interesting matchup because it's Baker Mayfield on the road as a dog. Something's wrong with Buffalo, in my opinion. They can't stop the run. Their defense is just being had. Gave them 30 points to the Dolphins last week. Bounce back spot for Buffalo, obviously, but the Bucs under Todd Bowles, when they give up 28 points or more the previous week, they're 6-1 against the spread the following week. I like Tampa here plus the points. What's the action on Bills hosting the Bucs?
So this is the lowest bet game of the week.
Wow.
Well, there's 68% of the money on Buffalo. The master chart's well balanced. The Buffalo money's all at 5.5. The early money was on the Bucs +6, which took it down to 5.5. But this is just less than Steelers Bengals as the most lowest bet. Least, yeah.
How about that? All right, Bears Vikings. Is that seeing any action? I mean, that's a legacy game. Bears are dogs. Everyone's on Caleb Williams thinking that this team is good all of a sudden now. What are we seeing for Bears Vikings?
Biggest bet game of the week.
There we go. All right.
78% of the money is on the Vikings. 94% of the master money is on the Vikings as well. It's at the -3 where it generally sits. So there wasn't really any 2.5 picked up early on. But yeah, that right now has the most volume on the game, and Vikings very, very heavily bet.
Yeah, I like the Vikings in this spot too. Will you guys? Do you think you'll get off a 3? Will you go to 3.5 at some point?
Well, right now it looks like 3 dog 20, dog 15. So it's going to take some effort to get to 3.5.
Okay.
I mean, 2.5 looks closer based on the current price, but just looking at volume, I can't see it coming off that right now.
Game of the week is Seahawks and the Rams. This is a monster spot. These are my top 2 teams. I have the Seahawks ranked first, Rams ranked second. Rams under Sean McVay have owned the Seahawks. He's 11-2 straight up against Seattle. Anyone like the dog here? Anyone taking Seattle on the road?
There is a little. I mean, 72% of the money is on the Rams. It's a medium bet game so far. The master chart's well balanced, and it's all any master bets on Seattle is +3. Any master bet on the Rams is -2.5. This looks like it's a solid number where it's at right now. It is leaning sort of 3 favorite -18 to 20, so it might get to 3.5. But yeah, right now it's fairly well balanced.
The Chiefs and the Broncos has that little hook on it, that 3.5, which is always, you bookmakers, is always an interesting indication as to what's going on here with this game. Broncos offense at home is not good, but their defense is great. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and he's 18-1 all time against the Broncos. He owns this franchise. Anyone taking the 3.5 here? Because it feels like you guys want the dog to be taken.
Yeah, on the master chart, it's well balanced. Slightly a little bit more on the +3.5. There was some -3 on the Chiefs earlier on. Overall, it's about 62% of the money is on the Chiefs. There is some people buying it down to 3, but it's sort of two-way action there at the 3.5.
Two-way action on that game. How about that? Do you buy the Chiefs? Are you a believer in Casey?
No. I think they've had their run, and again, it's the Broncos. They've been pretty rough at home. It's, as you said, 18-1. It might be just in their head at this point that they can't win this one. But 18-1, it's very much a pretty different team. The Broncos these days than what they were 3, 4, 5 years ago. You would hope that they're young enough to sort of put that out of their head, but yeah, maybe the Chiefs just own them. But I'm always the one that says 18-1. Well, it's due for the other way. So probably saying that for 16 games. But that one looks like it is going to get genuine good two-way action, and will sit around that 3.5 number.
It's a dead under game, right? I mean, people betting the under.
No, actually, the is all on the over. Let me have a quick look at what numbers just to see if they got it early and ran it up. So over 44, over 44.5 is where that's at, and it's still sitting at 44.5. Not a ton of volume, but any master bet is on the over, and we're about 54% of the general money is on the over there as well.
After the 10-7 debacle on Thursday, they like the over. Wow.
I guess they're just thinking they're going to come out and just two quarterbacks just try and fire over the top of each other. But yeah, that's I was surprised on that one.
Yeah, that's surprising. I think that's an under game. One more pro, and then we'll get to the couple of college games. Lions at the Eagles. Obviously, this is going to be a huge bet game. It's going to be a gigantic handle for most books, I think. Everything rolls to this game, right? Lions, Eagles, moneyline parlays, teasers are all going to roll to this.
Yeah, and right now we're looking at the master chart is heavy on the Eagles at the -2.5. Overall, it's fairly well balanced, probably like 53% of the money on the Eagles. But the only real master bets we've had there are the -2.5. But yeah, everyone's going to have an opinion on this game and have all their early stuff rolled into this. Hopefully it's fairly well balanced and not just leaning onto one side like last week's afternoon debacle. But yeah, I mean, this could be a preview to a NFC Championship game. Who knows? These are two good teams.
Yeah, Rams, Seahawks, and Lions, Eagles, two great games in the NFC. Before we get to college, Addison's got a really cool question because I think it's to ask you on your bookmaking. Cam Little broke the record this year with a 68-yard field goal. The prop was 64.5 for the longest field goal all season in the NFL. What would you set the line at next year, knowing that Cam Little hit a 68-yarder this year, the prop being 64.5 this year? How much higher would you make it next year?
It's probably not a bad number to go into next year. Again, you got to look at the schedule, sort of see if they have any of those stadiums indoors and things like that. Because even it was last week when it was at 80 yards or something, where I thought, well, they only need to get 10 yards, 15 yards, and then let him have another crack at it. But something like that, you're probably looking at a similar number. Maybe you go 65.5 but I imagine you only get under action next year with that one. So, even though someone comes out and does that, and Jesus, kickers are just kicking things way further than they used to. We're getting specialist soccer players and all these, different ones coming in. But I think mid-60s is where you would hang that number again. And I think you'd get mainly under action from the players that sort of know what they're doing, I should say. You might get some players going, yeah, I want to see a new record and let this one fly. But you're in it the whole year. I mean, for me, that's kind of a great bet to place and just be able to watch every field goal for the whole season and be cheering, oh, no, don't kick this one, or hoping that they get to take some of these shots and going, all right, this is my opportunity to win my bet. I think it's a fun bet, that one.
The ball flies here. I mean, thin air, 68-yarder in Vegas is when kickers have a chance to kick one like that, they're going to take their shot. And one day a 70-yard kick is going to get made, and that's ridiculous. I mean, at some point, like, are you in field goal range in the other red zone? Like, when are you not in field goal range in the NFL these days, given the new football rules that we've got going on right now? All right, to college, Oklahoma, Alabama, big one in the SEC. Bama's laying 5.5 here to Oklahoma in this defense coming in. I know a bunch of my friends that love Bama at this number. What are you seeing from an action standpoint in this game?
Yeah, so overall, 60% of the money's on Alabama here, 68% of the master money. Generally, it's at -5.5, -6 for Alabama. The +7 got taken early for Oklahoma. That was kind of the first bets that were taken. I think they did buy it from 6.5, but when that was taken, it went down, and then since then, all the money's been Alabama.
All right, and finally, Texas and Georgia, another SEC game here, number being 6.5. Anybody trusting Texas to go on the road to Georgia and get a W?
Doesn't seem so. 64% of the money is on Georgia. 100% and decent amount of money is master money is on Georgia. It went from 5, 5.5, 6, and now the number's sitting at 6.5. I was surprised when I looked up, and it was just a decent amount of money and all one way. That's why I figured it ran a little bit, and started at 5 and moved up. The other game that's getting a ton of action is the Penn State, Michigan State. Generally, again, Penn State money's coming in at 6.5, 7, 7.5,
really?
and at 8 and 7.5. So, I was just running down the charts and seeing, and that game had a ton of money on it, and Iowa USC was sort of the other one that was getting a bit of interest.
Are they betting Iowa?
No, they're betting USC. It's about 75% of the money USC, and 64% of the master money is USC there.
Interesting. All right, you have 3 survivors left, right?
2.
Who got out? Who got knocked out last week?
Oh boy, what a journey that was. You're always sort of trying not to overthink these things, and I went into that. I had one Seattle available, picked that straight away. I'm on an hour, and I thought, you know what? Let me take something safe. So I used the Lions. Thought that was pretty safe, which I don't generally like going on road teams. I went back and forth on this third one so many times. I was ready to pull the trigger on the Chargers. And I looked at the chart, and there was so much money on Pittsburgh, I had to go and do a little bit more homework. And when I started reading about, the offensive line, and they're 5-0 with the key guy, and 1-3 with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm going through this, and I'm like, well, if I pick Carolina, if they get through, I'll still have 3. If they get beat, there's a lot of people coming down with me. And even on here, I said, I'm not touching Carolina, not touching Carolina. When I picked Carolina and I sent it in, and I was watching the game, and I'm like, all right, well, my fault. I'm not, going to argue about this one. I fought it all week. I fell into it. Took 489 other entries down with me. Yeah. I did go from a 0.167% chance to a 0.2% chance. So technically I'm moving in the right direction. But that was a bad one. So I have 2, and I'm going to call the proxy. I'm going to take New England with one of them tonight, because I do have them available in one. And as for the other team, I don't know right now. This looks like
a hard week. This is a really hard week. This is not easy. There's a bunch of road favorites. There's a bunch of teams at home that you don't want to trust. Like this is. I'll be very curious how many teams are left after this weekend, because this is the week that I think there's just not a natural pick. There's not a natural team to take this week.
No, there's not. And I looked at Minnesota. They did me right in that London game. that was on a different entry. That entry's long gone now. I thought, was it Atlanta against Carolina, but that number seems to have dropped. I thought that was higher a day and a half ago.
Panthers are no play for you. That they stay away from the Panthers. We can't do them again.
Kind of the Bengals from last year and the Cardinals this year. So that's, they mess you one week, they come back and get you the next week on the other direction. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know who I would use because I'm looking at people might use the Packers. I'll look at what their availability is, but they're not Packers to go down. Like you're trying to balance this thing being
strategic,
tricky, but not overthink it. And that I will say there was a headline last week when I was doing my search on Survivor picks that said, "Don't overthink this. Pick the Panthers." Whoops. And I went into it, and they come in. Yeah, so I'm not overthinking it. I'm going to take the Patriots, and I'll struggle to find something else before Saturday's cutoff.
Do you have the Ravens available? The chat is saying that they all like the Ravens.
So the thing about the Ravens is that seems like the safest play. I think it's Thanksgiving. They have the Bengals or Christmas or something like that.
Okay.
They're the one that they have the Bengals, and they should be fully back. They're coming back alive now.
Right.
And kind of a tough one that I really want to.
Fair.
Yeah. It's no good if you make it to there, but the Christmas Day and the Thanksgiving days have gotten so much more competitive when you look at those two teams, how they've started the season and where they're at now and where they might be in 2 weeks and 5 weeks.
Yeah, I like that. I like that move to make sure you have the Ravens available for Thanksgiving. I like that. That's
So that's where I think that's the one that you could play, but it's tough this week.
It's a really tough week. Adam, thank you for the time. This was awesome. Look forward to catching up next week. Appreciate you.
Cheers. Thanks, Matt. Later.
Adam Bjorn. Where in the world is Adam Bjorn? We know him. He be in the great state of Michigan. So he is close for us here on a BetCris Arizona Thursday. If you guys are in Arizona, absolutely take a look at what BetCris can offer you. And I'm glad that we were able to get some clarity on everything going on with Prime. And so as you kind of heard, like there is some things going on behind the scenes where they're not going to change the brand, but they're going to be, Adam's going to be operating. And so I don't know, we'll probably keep going with BetCris Arizona for the rest of the football season. But in the future, I mean, we've already done Prime. That's how I got in touch with Adam, was when we were doing stuff with Joe Brennan, and Joe and Adam started doing the Prime Suspects podcast together. And then Adam and Joe both would alternate. And sometimes it was Joe, sometimes it was Adam that would come on representing Prime. So it's been a little, and I said to him yesterday, I was like, this is a chance to kind of clarify with the audience exactly like what's going on. So like Adam now being the face of both Prime and BetCris Arizona. And my gut tells me, I'm not a business person, but I assume that they probably will do BetCris New Jersey and BetCris Ohio and BetCris Kentucky. That would be my thought, that they would do a rebrand at some point down the line, probably not now, but maybe in 26 at some point before the World Cup. That was pretty cool to hear that there's going to be that level of interest in the World Cup. And I think it's going to be fun to see. Somebody in the chat, do me a favor. When's the first World Cup game? When does the World Cup officially start? Is it May or June that the World Cup starts here in America? I actually don't know the answer to that because I'm not a soccer guy, but I know Boston is hosting a bunch of games. There was a huge revolt here in Vegas because they built Allegiant Stadium for the NFL, and they did not build Allegiant Stadium with the right specs to host a World Cup game. And there was a lot of people in the sports community that thought that was malpractice, but they wanted it more narrow. They wanted the seats closer to the field in order to have the sliding in and out, that tray that comes in and out where the underneath is turf for UNLV and then the grass is for the Raiders. So they wanted to have that to be able to slide in and out, and thus they didn't want people's seats to be really far away. And so they did not expand the width of Allegiant Stadium's playing surface to be wide enough to host a World Cup game. And there was a big problem with that. Okay, thank you. June 11th in Mexico City. Looks like it's the first one. So June. Okay. So that's pretty cool. All right. USA versus Mexico at SoFi in June is the first event here. Okay. In the States. But that's wild to hear that. There's 104 Super Bowls. That's crazy from a handle perspective. That's really fun. that the World Cup's going to be here. That's super fun. So, all right. I learned something new today from Adam. That's pretty cool to see what's going to happen with all of that. Wow. All right. World Cup here. Let's go. That's a big game. So you have that whole thing sliding over across the entire country. You have March Madness, and then you have the Masters, and then you have the Kentucky Derby, and then you have the World Cup. Damn, 26 is going to be a sick year. Wow. I just learned that's going to be a crazy summer. That's going to be a crazy sports year. 2026. So we have the playoffs in January. We have the Super Bowl in February. Then we have March Madness, and the Masters, then the Kentucky Derby, then the World Cup, and then the NFL and college season. Stanley Cup Finals too. Wow. Ish, you're going to have to send me every bet. You have a bet on every World Cup game. You got to send me what to bet. I know nothing about soccer. Zero zip nothing. So, you know what? I'm probably going to have to. Wow. Okay. We're going to need to have a soccer expert. I'm going to have to go look for a soccer expert to be on the show to talk World Cup. And the Winter Olympics? Really? When's that? In February? Wow. Is that? Yeah, obviously baseball. I mean, obviously the same stuff. Yes. I'm talking about like the extra stuff that comes in because like the books always say like, okay, they know what the normal handle is. It changes when there is a gigantic year. It changes when there is extra stuff like the World Cup, the Winter Olympics, because the hockey players are playing in the Winter Olympics, right? So you have to assume the hockey handle is going to be stupid for those games because you have NHL players in the Winter Olympics. So we got that. Is Pele still playing? No, Roger. Pele is not playing. But we got all that. Oh, all right. I'm in. 26 is going to be a banger. Wow. All right. That's going to be a fun year. There's a lot of stuff to go. Okay. I've been so myopically stuck on like this in 25. I haven't thought of 26. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about what happened last night. Some interesting stuff. Obviously, we already talked about the Cy Young Award going to both Skubal and to Skenes, but there was more. So the Clippers stink. The Clippers are bad, like really bad. And Kawhi may come back. When might he come back? We don't know when he might come back. But Jokic last night had 52 points going into the fourth quarter last night. 52. After the game, Ty Lue admitted that their defensive game plan was to let Jokic score, but stop everything else. The game plan was like, hey, we're going to give Jokic a bunch of shots. Don't let him rebound and don't let him pass the basketball, but he can score as much as he wants. He scored 55 on the Clippers last night. That didn't go well. You might want to rethink that next time, Ty. I don't know if I want to be giving that guy open shots left and right because he is one of the best players in the world. So, yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's not the best strategy to go ahead and do that. The college football playoff committee has a little bit of a problem on their hands because the head of, did I make a slide for that? I did. Mack Rhoades has been placed on leave from Baylor as the athletic director of Baylor, and such because he's been placed on leave due to an altercation with a student, which is never what you want to be talking about from an athletic department standpoint. But because that happened, he is stepping down. The university received an allegation involving Rhoades on Monday. It is an altercation with a football player during a September game. I thought it was a student, but a student athlete during a September game. So since he's been taken down, Rhoades is now out. Arkansas, their athletic director, has been nominated as the new college football playoff committee chair, while Utah athletic director Mark Harlan has been nominated to replace Rhoades on the committee. So new chairman and a new member of the committee. The interesting point about that is that Utah and BYU hate each other. And now BYU is on the outside looking in from a playoff perspective, and they're trying to get votes on that committee to vote BYU into the college football playoff. And now the athletic director for Utah sits on that committee. I don't know how that happens, but that could be a difficult situation for sure for BYU if you've got that guy there. So new chair, new member, and Mark Harlan is the AD of Utah. If I'm a BYU fan, I'm not happy about that. That definitely does concern me coming in on that for that. And we'll see what if the rankings change at all. We'll see after having, Harlan on there next week, how big of a change is it going to be. But Baylor athletic director and the college football chairman, Mack Rhoades, stepping away from both roles. Player, which clearly was bad. That was clearly not good. Hopefully that freeze was fast. I saw that freeze. That was a quick one. Hopefully. Second freeze. I saw it click. So hopefully that was not a fast one, not a long one, but I caught that freeze when I was looking at. Let's make some bets. It is time for Just the Picks, being brought to you by Betting Pros' Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. Have you guys gone and checked out the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet? You can go for tonight's game to find a whole bunch of different prop bets that are available for tonight's game. The NFL Prop Bet Cheat Sheet shows you the best value plays every day. Get daily prop value rankings based on projections. Find the best props for all major passing, rushing, and receiving stat categories. You can use it now at bettingpros.com/props or by going and downloading the Betting Pros app wherever you guys get your prop bets. So for me tonight, I have hemmed and hawed. Look, moneyline parlay Patriots. Okay, just put the Patriots in the moneyline parlay. They're beating the Jets. How many points are the Patriots beating the Jets by? I don't know. I bet against the Patriots last week. I'm not betting on the Patriots this week. I'm not laying 12.5. I'm not laying 13. I thought about same game teasing this. Okay. I thought about taking this, going ahead and putting this. Oh, sorry. I put the wrong. There we go. I thought about putting the same game teaser together that I've done for years, taking the Patriots down from 12.5, pulling it down to 6.5. And then taking the total from 43, pulling it down to 37, or taking the total up from 43.5 to 49.5 and betting the under. I went back and forth for about an hour last night before I made the bet. I didn't know what to do. I still don't like the bet. I'm being honest. I made the bet. I don't like the bet. Okay. I think the Jets score a lot more than that, JC from KC. I think they score a lot more. I do. I think they score a lot more. I think the Jets score at least 17 points tonight. And so because of that, I'm going with the over. As you heard, Adam, pro money's all in the under. And I initially, full disclosure, when I initially handicapped this game, I do a show on Tuesday with Pat Fitzmaurice. We do this look-ahead show for Betting Pros on Tuesdays that drops Tuesday afternoons, and we taped it Tuesday morning. And on Tuesday morning, one of my 3 plays for the week was going to be the under in this game. I said, we're betting the under. This is a straight under play. I've been ice cold betting. And when you're cold, I've been cold for like 6 weeks now, but when you're cold, you start to question everything. And this is kind of a indication or a result of not trusting myself, because initially I would say bet the under. But because of it, the numbers to me, looking at what the prop bet cheat sheet likes tonight, looking at what could happen in this game, Patriots have had 4 straight games to the over. The Jets have had 2 straight games to the over. The Patriots offense should score between 24 and 31 points tonight, somewhere in that range. So the question comes down to how many points will the Jets score? And if the Patriots score 30 and the Jets score 17, 30-17, we're going over. So that is kind of how I think this game goes. I do think the Jets are going to have some success moving the football, even without Garrett Wilson, who is probably going to be out of this game. I still think the Patriots defense can give up points. I don't think you run on them that well, but I do think Justin Fields will throw on the Patriots. I know that's kind of an oxymoron a little bit, but he's had decent games throwing the football this season. And the Patriots, it's a rivalry game. It's a short week. I think Drake May might get picked off a couple times tonight. I mean, Drake May is due to have a rough football game. It's a short week. He's played on a short week one time in his career against the Chargers, and he got blown out. He got absolutely blown out. Patriots, Jets. I'm betting the over 43.5. Do with that with what you will on this, okay? You can go ahead and, do with what you want with that. Yeah, see, everyone's calling it a trap, Ross. Every Patriot fan, including me, is calling it a trap game. I understand the point. It's probably the only thing that makes me feel like the Patriots might score 40 tonight and beat the living tar out of the Jets is because everybody's calling it a trap game. It's just typical. It's a divisional game on the road. I haven't taken the Jets plus the points yet, but at some point I'm going to take the Jets plus the points. I just don't know what number I'm going to take. I want over 14, but at some point during the game, I'm going to take the Jets plus the points. Unless the Jets get out there and score quickly, and then I'll be mad that I didn't take it pre-flop. But I do think this is a game is closer than people think. I really do. See, everyone's calling it a trap. I don't mind that. Here's the problem. It's 27.5, Eric. Patriots team total is 27.5. They could score 27. Like the Patriots have had games where they scored 20. I mean, they were lucky to score 28 points last week against the Bucs. I don't know. As long as Justin Fields starts tonight, which I guess there's some question about whether or not Justin Fields is going to start tonight, but as far as I can tell, the Patriots defense. Well, I'll say this. If the Pats defense scores tonight, Eric, I'm going over. I win. So I hope you're right. I hope the Patriots do that. Since everyone's calling it a trap, Pats in a major blowout. Very possible. Very possible. Ish is saying 27-17. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That's 44. I'm good with that. Yep. Over 43.5. So I'm good with it. Patriots first half team total was 14.5. Wow. And this is possible too, Joel. 27-10. Yep. That's possible. Patriots cover. Possible. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this game. I really am. I'm completely befuddled by this game. I can spin myself into 15 different ways sideways here with this because the numbers just are really, really difficult. And I'm a Patriot fan, so it's hard because the Patriots, double-digit favorites, first time since the end of the 21 season, first time since the Jets with Tom Brady in 2019. Since 2000, the Patriots have been double-digit favorites 14 times against the Jets. Think about that. Since 2000, this is the 14th time the Patriots have been double-digit favorites against the Jets. And it's just stupid how much on that. Pat's first half, I don't mind it, Cole. I don't mind it. But Drake May rushing attempts, I think, is the better play than that. Okay. Addison's been asking for the hockey plays. I got this at 5.5. It's now 6, but I like Toronto and Detroit to go over. 15-2 Detroit. Sorry, 15-2 Toronto on the over on the season. 10 in a row, actually 11 in a row, and they're 9-1 to the over at home. They're taking on Detroit. I'm just betting the trend. Keep it rolling. Over 5.5 for Toronto and Detroit. Most books have gone to 6. I still think the over is a decent look there with the over for 6 for Toronto and Detroit. If you want one of Addison's specials, first period over for Boston and Ottawa, first period gift for Boston and Ottawa, first period gift for Anaheim, first period over for Anaheim if you're looking for those plays here today for that. I'll have more bets and other things to come at you in bonus time. If you're live, don't move. Much more to come. If you guys are on the replay on Sports Grid, thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys being a part of it. We're back tomorrow for a Fight Song Friday. Thank you to Adam Bjorn in BetCris, Arizona for sponsoring this Thursday edition of the Bostonian versus the Book. Bonus time now. Okay. Fields gets taken out at halftime. Maybe. Why? I mean, just what are the Jets playing for? They're 2-7. Why? Why would you pull them? Just, yeah, right. Letters to Santa. Oh, we're going with what game, Addison? Anaheim, right? That's got to be Anaheim. And then tell everybody what a Santa is, by the way. Your lingo is only known by a few of us. So you're going to have to go ahead and give us the lingo on this. But Kings and Leafs over. Bruins and Senators first period over. Gift as well. Anaheim, Detroit over in the first period and under. I think I said Toronto and Detroit. Sorry. It's Toronto and the Kings. I apologize on that. My bad on that. But we're betting Toronto. That's what we want. It's Toronto over first period for the game, rather, on that. So some good stuff coming up with that. But the Santas go in the first 5 minutes, go in the first 10 minutes. You get two gifts in one. That's why it's a Santa. Quick goal with Anaheim wouldn't be stunning. 80% of the games for the Ducks have had a goal in the first 10 minutes. 80%. Best in the NHL. So. But the problem is Detroit's at 50% for everything. 50% for first period over, 50% for the gift. So Anaheim doesn't have a great dance partner tonight for that, but I think you can play it. I think that's a good bet to go in that. Santa, give all my hockey friends their 10 covers. That's great. Yes, Edison, write your letters to Santa Claus. Absolutely. Prop bet of the day is, where is that? There it is. Okay. You guys are all in the chat, shitting on Justin Fields. I like over 129 and a half passing yards for Justin Fields. I think he throws the ball well tonight. I do. Even without Garrett Wilson. Patriots secondary is not great. Their pass rush is pretty good, but Justin Fields is mobile. And I think he'll get away from it. So, again, I hope the Patriots beat the living dog shit out of the Jets tonight. Okay, I hope I am rolling laughing going, this is tremendous. Beat them 100-0. I hate the Jets. Absolutely hate the Jets. So I am all in. Absolutely 100% all in on the Patriots killing the Jets tonight. Justin Fields, over 129.5 passing yards. It's too damn low. That is too damn low. 130, 140, somewhere in that range. I like Justin Fields tonight. Over 129.5 passing yards against the Patriots. And again, I think the Jets score 17 points tonight. I do. They score 17. How many points do the Patriots score? If they score 27 and it's 27-17, I'm good. That's under their team total, by the way, which is 27.5. That's the worry with the Patriots team total. That's my fear, because you get hooked by betting the team total. So on this, I'm going full fan hedge. I kind of am, but I'm kind of not. Like, if this wasn't my team, okay, if I wasn't a Patriot fan and I was just handicapping this game, the Jets are the side. Okay? The Jets are the side. Hold on a second. I need to text something really quick. So, sorry. Somebody said there's someone to come work on my house. I'm like, you're not coming working on my house right now. I'm on the air. Stop it. You're not coming here right now. Sorry. That's why I had to send a text message going like, no, you're not. We'll be there in 10 minutes. No, you won't be. Sorry. Yeah, Ross, I think Ross, you're the right. If this was like, okay, let's do Cowboys Eagles. Okay, this is Cowboys Eagles. and the number was 13. Like, you would take the Cowboys, right? You would take the dog. Like, this is a divisional matchup. Okay. I mean, this is a divisional matchup. I can't for the life of me lay 13 points. This is Jets or nothing. This is take the dog or nothing. And so I took nothing. At this point, I took nothing. And I want to see how the game starts. The Patriots get the ball first. They go down there and score a touchdown. We should be able to get 17, 16 points. And I'll take the Jets in game at plus 16 or plus 17. You can tease this if you want, okay? But here's my philosophy about teasing the game tonight. I am not seeing the board well. So if I'm cold, I don't like to make it more difficult for myself to win. So like, that's a huge deal to me. Like, I don't have the ability to increase the likelihood of losing by adding a leg. I'd rather just lose the over to the under, just have one bet. And I'm just trailing one bet versus like, okay, I need the Patriots to win by, if it's 12.5, you pull it down to 6.5. I need the Patriots to win by 7. And then I need the total to go over 37 or go under 49. And there's a potential for a gigantic, like a huge win. So this is tough. Like, this is tough. I understand the Jets offense is awful. I do. I get it. But it's the NFL. It's a divisional game. We've seen this story before, have we not? Like, you guys have bet the NFL for a long time. When everyone is running, when everybody is going one direction, you got to be careful. You just got to be careful on tonight. That's all I got to say. Pats aren't losing. I'll give you that. They're not going to lose the game, but they may not win the game by as many points as people think. It may be closer than people think. All right, time for news of the industry. Some pretty big news here in Las Vegas. So FanDuel and DraftKings both have dropped their bid to be licensed by gaming here in the state of Nevada. The reason is they are going full bore into the sports prediction marketplace. Both of FanDuel and DraftKings making the announcement that they're going to go ahead and do this, ended their pursuit of a sports betting license in Nevada following the respective launch of both prediction markets for FanDuel and DraftKings, per the Nevada Gaming Control Board. The quote, "It has been made clear to the board that FanDuel and DraftKings intend to engage in unlawful activities related to sports event contracts. This conduct is incompatible with their ability to participate in Nevada's gaming industry." So who exactly is walking away from whom? It doesn't really matter. FanDuel announced that they will offer sport event contracts with their new prediction app starting next month. DraftKings had previously announced that they will offer sport event contracts in the coming months. Today, Polymarket made the announcement that they are the official sports prediction marketplace of the UFC. Look, this is turning into, for me, if you can't beat them, join them type situation with this, because all of the energy, all of the money for the sports gambling industry is now fully in the sports prediction marketplace. And the reason is California, Texas, and Florida. I still believe that sports prediction marketplaces, it is sports gambling. That is sports betting. I don't know how you don't call it sports betting. It's sports betting. It's semantics. But if the courts are not going to allow, or are going to allow, sport prediction marketplaces to exist, and if the courts in certain states, and it's been pretty well documented, that certain states are not going to issue a cease and desist order to prevent, in Nevada they have for Kalshi, you can't operate here. Kalshi, you can't operate here. Polymarket, you can't operate in Nevada. But DraftKings and FanDuel, they're going to go and offer in Nevada, and Nevada's going to have to go to court to stop them from doing that again. So another lawsuit, more lawyers, more money, more time. And I don't think either DraftKings or FanDuel care all that much about Nevada from a sport prediction marketplace. Like, if they don't have Nevada, that's fine. They want California and Texas. I've said this before, I'll say it again. More than half of the U.S. population is currently unable to legally sports gamble in their home state. Like, that's incredible. You know how much sports betting is in our face? You know how much advertising's been out there? You know how much handle has been bet on legal sports bets on sports gambling sites across the country? More than half of the overall population in this country do not have access to do that. And so California and Texas now coming on board with FanDuel and DraftKings and having a chance to go ahead and do this, that changes everything. And the tribes are trying to stop it. The tribes lost a court case earlier this week. Florida in the same boat. And it's sort of like one of those, if you can't beat them, you got to join them. And I have not used sport prediction marketplaces. The only person I've talked to in depth about it is Alex Kane from Sport Trade. And he is a fervor believer that this is the most fair way, the most customer focused way to sports gamble, that this is the most customer friendly way to sports bet. And so for me, who I've been pretty anti the sport prediction marketplace, and I've been pretty much saying you're screwing over the people who have done it the right way. And I still feel that way, that the people who went through all of the legal loopholes and all the things they did to be legalized in different states, just have a 50-state solution come over the top. I still believe that that is not appropriate. But the companies who are coming on board, DraftKings, FanDuel, Polymarket, they didn't do what Kalshi did. And I'm still not a fan of the way Kalshi approached this. And I'm still not a fan of the way that Kalshi continues to approach this and the way they talk about their own product and how wishy-washy they have been and how back and forth they have been with, we're betting, no, we're not. We're betting, no, we're not. We're advertising what we're betting, but we're not betting. Like, all of that stuff that happened with Kalshi has completely turned me off. But I mean, I'm in the space. I'm not an idiot in terms of where the momentum is. I have to monitor it and watch it and go, okay, today at the New York Stock Exchange, Polymarket made the announcement that they are the official sports prediction marketplace of the UFC. And they opened up, they rang the bell. So, like, clearly that's a market that was illegal here in the United States for a long time. Polymarket wasn't legal here. And now Polymarket is going to be operating with a CFTC license here in America. Like, next week, they're going to open. And that's a whole 50-state solution. That's across the entire country. So we're not talking about individual states and coming in and going like, okay, we're going to go ahead and launch in New Jersey and then Ohio. No, when a new company comes in, they go after 375 million people. They're going after everyone. They want everyone. How is it policed? I have no idea. Can it be policed? I have no idea. I don't. But if people that I trust, and I trust Alex Kane immensely, incredibly, his opinion is extremely heavy to me. When he is talking, I am listening. And so Alex Kane has been very vocal about, look, it's betting, okay? It's gambling, but it's a new type of gambling. It's a new type of sports betting, and it's one that should be allowed across the country, and he has his reasons. I'm trying to get Alex on the show next week to kind of come on and talk more about this. But that is a big deal. Sonic, I am interested in the funding part of prediction marketplaces. Example, can my FanDuel balance funded by PayPal get shared with a prediction market? I'm going to say yes. That you're going to be able to have a shared wallet with your FanDuel account and your FanDuel marketplace account. Same with DraftKings. Your DraftKings wallet. I mean, because like my DraftKings wallet can be shared between Pick 6 and DraftKings. So their version of Prize Picks, their prop market parlay piece called Pick 6, that wallet is shared with my DraftKings sports betting wallet. So I'm assuming the same thing will happen with DraftKings and their sport prediction marketplaces, and the same thing with FanDuel and the FanDuel marketplace. So yes, I do think you're going to be able to fund it and have, opportunities to do both. So I'm curious. That's all I'm going to say. I'm curious. Okay. And I think there's going to be a war in the space about sports betting, sports books, and sport prediction marketplaces. And then having to educate the public about the difference. Because frankly, I have to be educated about the difference. And I'm going to start to do this. I was talking to someone today about this, about, okay, I'm willing to acknowledge that the war has been lost up to this point. And I'm never going to stand there and, just stick my fingers in my ears and, sing show tunes. I'm going to look at it and say, all right, well, I'm wrong. That this is where we're going. This is the industry. This is what if we want to operate in sports gambling, you want to operate in sports betting, you're going to have to be aware of sport prediction marketplaces. It's the same thing that happened when it came to the same game parlays that came around. And I have been very much against same game parlays. I've bet them. I've given them out. When I'm asked to do so or I'm paid to do so, I've done so. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, even though I might not use a sport prediction marketplace all that much because I live in Nevada and I have access to 15 different sports books, so I don't need to do that. But if there is a different state, if I'm going to California and I want to be able to bet when I'm in California, well, then maybe I'm going to a sport prediction marketplace. Or I'm back in Texas and I want to gamble on sports in Texas, I'll then go ahead and jump in with that. So that, I think, is the way this is going. So, I am stunned at how the courts have gone and how slowly the courts have gone, because I thought, to me, it seemed like a pretty open and shut case as to what was going on, that the states have the right to dictate sports gambling. Sport prediction marketplaces is sports betting. And so it should not be under the control of an individual state. Well, that's not being confirmed state by state. And yes, there have been wins for Kalshi in the courts, and there have been wins for the states in the courts. Nevada has won. Maryland has won. Kalshi has won certain states, in other marketplaces. Massachusetts, the court case is going to state court. Out of federal court, it's going to state court. So that's probably going to be a problem. But I think in states that have legalized sports gambling, I don't think the Kalshis of the world, I don't think the poly markets of the world are going to make much of a dent. But in the states that do not have sports betting legalized, states like Wisconsin, states like Texas, states like Oklahoma, states like California, you're going to see people using Kalshi and Polymarket and FanDuel and DraftKings sport prediction marketplaces. Huge. I mean, huge. It's going to be huge in those states because people want to sports bet. People want to gamble, and you're going to give them a chance to go ahead and use it. So I think it's going to be a pretty big deal. And I think for anybody like this show that does a national show, I think we'd be ignorant to ignore it anymore. I think we have to get involved. We have to talk about it. We have to learn. I got to research. I think it would be malpractice for me as somebody who's in the sports betting space to not at least have a pretty good working knowledge of the differences between a sports gamble and a sports prediction marketplace, and what you can gain, what edges you can find, how can you be a profitable bettor by using a sport prediction marketplace. So I'm changing my tune. Yes. Am I going with the direction that the wind is blowing? Yes. And I think I'd be stupid not to. I think you kind of have to, given what's going on at the moment. So FanDuel and DraftKings both launching in the next couple of months. It's a pretty big indicator as to what exactly is happening across the country and how they feel that the court cases are going to go involving sport prediction marketplaces. Favorite thing about today? Oh, this is an easy one. Screw the Jets. Favorite thing about today is I hope the Patriots absolutely embarrass the hell out of the Jets tonight. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not betting it that's going to happen. I'm just hoping. I'm going to be watching with the hope that by like 6 p.m. Pacific time, this game's like 21-0, and it's kind of a put it on in the background and go do other things. Because my daughter has a performance tonight at 6:30. It's fast. It's like 15 minutes. It's not long. And her school is like literally like a foot from my house. So I'm going to run up there. go watch my daughter perform, and then come back and watch the game. But the hope is it's not like 3-3 after the second quarter at halftime. And I'm sweating the game out going, oh my God, they're going to lose to the Jets when I go to this event tonight. So the hope is fast start, lots of points, blow them out, Patriots roll, game goes over, everything's great. Let's hope it all works out. But that's the hope. That's the hope. Primetime divisional dogs of 6.5 or more, a 6-0 ATS this year. Yep. As I've said all show, JC, if this was not my team, I would take the points. I would bet the Jets. Jets in the under, Pats in the over. Correlated? It's possible. I like over 43. So that's the one bet I've made. I'm going to see where this number runs to. The dream would be 14. I don't think we get there, but that would be a dream. If you give me up to 14, I'm taking the Jets. In game, I get over 14. I'm taking the Jets. But right now, pre-flop, 12.5 or 13, not enough. I need 14. You give me 14, and we're good. And we're good. Yes, you did. Addison, it's on the BVB Twitter account too. I retweeted that. It's pretty good. If you hate 6-7, you're not going to like that. You're not going to like it at all. Tomorrow is a Fight Song Friday. Bama, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, and more coming tomorrow. Big Saturday for college football, but the biggest Sunday of the year for the NFL. We'll break down every game, give you bets, picks, and thoughts on each and every game coming up on Sunday. So many big ones. Rams and the Seahawks, Lions and the Eagles, and more come up tomorrow. Thank you to BetCris Arizona. If you're in Arizona, definitely give them your business. Thanks to Adam Bjorn for coming on, as he always does, giving us great insight into what their book is taking from an action standpoint. Talk to you tomorrow for a Fight Song Friday episode of BVB.